So my youngest son is quickly transitioning from baby to toddler, and along with the many changes such as increased mobility and just generally making a nuisance of himself, one of the changes has been he is becoming a lot more discriminating in what he likes to eat. It used to be that we could just give him anything, whatever we were eating, and he would eat it. Now, we may sit down to a nice meal of some grilled chicken and some vegetables. My wife will make some nice homemade rolls. And whatever we put on his plate, even stuff that he likes, like the chicken or the vegetables, he will just scream and holler and rock his chair to try to get to that roll, because what he really wants is the bread. And he would literally just stuff himself on bread, eating nothing healthy at all. And while I can't really argue with his taste, I understand, like those rolls are delicious. It illustrates for me something that all of us know to be true in the physical world, but also has some tremendous spiritual implication. And that is, if we want to have a healthy life, we have to eat healthy. And the same is true spiritually. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1 says, like newborn babies, long for the pure milk of the word, so that by it you may grow. If we want to grow as a result of our salvation, we have to eat the right things. We have to feed ourselves on God's word. And unfortunately, there is so much bad spiritual food out there right now vying for our attention, things that present themselves as if they are designed to help you grow spiritually. And we're feeding on self-help books, we're feeding on people's opinions, we're feeding on psychological arguments, we're feeding on other people's feelings, we're feeding on all of this stuff, even sometimes preaching that isn't based in God's word. It's just a good idea, nice little Sunday morning pep talk. That stuff is never going to feed you. It might taste good at first, but it's not going to nourish you into a healthy spiritual life. For that, we have to feed ourselves on God's word. We have to get into his word. We have to read it. I would say read it every day, and don't let that overwhelm you. You don't have to read the whole Bible every day. You don't have to read huge portions, but read something, right? Even if it's a verse, systematically read through God's word in some fashion every single day. But then don't just stop there. I want you to think about it. Feeding myself on God's word is more than just letting my eyes glance across the page or letting my ears hear the words as I'm listening to God's word being read. It is thinking about it. It is engaging my mind with the truth that I find in God's word and interacting with it. It's asking questions and going and looking for answers to those questions. We call that Bible study, right? I study it, I meditate on it, I certainly read it, and then memorize it. I think we need to be putting God's word into our heart and into our mind and have it memorized so that we can dwell on it even when I don't have the ability to be looking at a physical copy of God's word. If I want to have a healthy life physically, then I have to eat the right things. And the same is true spiritually. If you want to live a healthy spiritual life, a life that is pleasing to God and is full of the joy of your salvation, if you want to live that kind of life, then you have to feed on the right things. And the right thing, the right spiritual food is God's word.